An executive order has been issued. How do you rescind an executive order? How do you go around an executive order? How do you reverse an executive order?
Congress could override the president's executive order by building basic privacy protections into health IT legislation. Congress could refute what the president wants. Congress is the only body that can fix this mess.
Do you think it's something someone like Bill Frist would want to fix?
Sadly, Senator Frist's bill does the same thing the president's executive order does. It does not give Americans the right to control access to their medical records, even though he's a physician and even though he should know better because he took the Hippocratic Oath.
Is there money to be made by these databases that are being compiled? I read in one of the blurbs that was sent out that one company made $1.75 billion selling prescription records to drug companies so that they could essentially go after that business?
That's exactly right. And that's another point that patient privacy rights makes repeatedly. If we don't put privacy protections into the legislation that builds an electronic health system, all we're going to be doing is building the mother lode of valuable data for data mining. There's a company called IMS Health that sued the state of New Hampshire, which recently passed a law not allowing companies to data mine prescription records. And yes, IMS Health in 2005 had revenues of $1.75 billion with the B dollars selling prescription records to drug companies, and that's only one of the over 600,000 private corporations and businesses that can use and sell medical records. There are several others that do the same thing with prescription records, and that's just starting to come to people's attention because, a prescription record has a lot of information about you. From the medication you take, people can tell what diagnosis you have, and it's none of their business. Other companies are preparing to do the same sort of thing. Blue Cross Blue Shield announced that they're going to build a giant database of all 79 million enrollees to sell to employers so that they can reduce their health costs and to sell to others that may want the data. There are other companies that we're starting to learn about. A company called Thompson MedStat also aggregates claims data and health records from Medicare and Medicaid patients and from private health plans, and they sell that data as well. I mean, the problem really is that the use of our sensitive information in these ways endangers jobs, endangers our future, endangers credit. I mean, it's gonna get out and make it impossible for your kid even to get into the college of their choice, to buy their first home, because this information doesn't belong outside of those that you want to know it, those that actually take care of you.
You mentioned that initial legislation back in 2002.
It wasn't legislation in 2002. That's the problem. The change to the federal privacy rule that determines who can see and use your information was made by federal officials, bureaucrats, employees of the Department of Health and Human Services. It was not made by elected officials. That's one of the things that we're telling Congress is, look, if we're going to have our rights taken away, it shouldn't be by the president, and it shouldn't be by the bureaucrats that work in federal agencies. We want our elected officials to step up to the plate and, first of all, debate this issue publicly, inform the public about what's at stake, and then vote on a system that Americans want. Every poll shows Americans want to control and own their medical records. The majority of Americans really understand how critical privacy is.
I'd like to thank Dr. Deborah Peel for joining us 9N. And one more time, the website where people can find out more.
It's www.patientprivacyrights.org. please go there. There's lots of information. We have a petition you can sign that says, I want my medical privacy. We will take it to Congress for you. Please tell your members of Congress you don't want an electronic health system unless you can control who sees your records.
Dr. Deborah Peel, thank you again for joining us.
You're so welcome.